Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do a very important video and a very interesting video. How much an NHS doctor really earns. Here are the time snaps of this video. If you want to jump into a specific section, you can do so. You guys know me already that I am a GP specialty trainee in the UK and I work part-time. I work 80% less than full-time. That is because of my child care responsibilities. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys how much I earned as a full-time trainee as well as a part-time trainee. I mean, the world is very keen to know how much a doctor really earns, and I think it's because doctors are in so-called highest earning professional field. Not only that, if you are a doctor in a country like UK, the expectations will be even higher. But believe me, UK doctors earn less than a doctor working, for example, in the US, in Australia or Canada. But definitely there are certain benefits of working in the UK as a doctor. So personally, I am not going to weigh my personal experience of working in a country like UK over my salary. However, who do not like to earn more? So if you stay till the end of this video, I am going to show you guys, even as an NHS doctor, how you can easily double or even triple your salary. This is my 4th year as a doctor in the NHS. I started my job in the NHS as a foundation year 2 equivalent trust grade SHO. However, I then got into GP training. But in the middle of my training, I have had 2 sets of maternity leave, first one for 4 months and then for 12 months. And because I was pregnant during the COVID pandemic, I had some time off of the training during my pregnancy period as well. So that is the reason I have an extended period of training as a GP trainee. However, a normal GP trainee who is working full-time will be working as a trainee for 3 years only. Following my maternity leave, I started my training as a less than full-time trainee. So I am working 80% less than full-time, which means I work 20% less than a full-time trainee. So my working week is 32 hours a week, whereas a full-time trainee will be working 40 hours a week in average. Because I am still on a work visa, I cannot work less than 80% even if I want to. But there are options like you can work 60%, 50% or even lesser depending on your circumstances. First of all, let me show you this chart from BMA website which shows basic salary for doctors in training in the UK. As you can see, when your training grade becomes high, your salary increases. I am a GP ST2 and as you can see here, my annual basic salary is £40,257, and when I enter into my 3rd year of training, my salary will be increased to £51,017. However, you can see that the salary for ST1 and ST2 is same, and ST3, ST4 and ST5 is same. However, I will attach this pay and condition circular in the description link below so that you can have a look at it. It gives a really good explanation of a salary of an NHS doctor. Okay, now it's the important part. I am going to show you my actual pay slips, and I will show you my pay slips when I was working full-time as well as when I was working part-time, and I will briefly show you how your pay can change depending on the rotation you are doing as well.
I will simply explain the payslip for people who have no clue of what these numbers and letters mean. Here is your payroll or employment number, and this is your basic salary depending on your pay grade. Here is your employer's payee reference number. This is usually needed when you submit your tax relief claim for your employment expenses. Next is your tax code. Usually the tax code for many of you at the beginning will be 1257L non-com. My tax code is slightly different because I have claimed my employment expenses, and all those expenses are included in my tax code. So I have a little bit higher tax-free allowance for my pay. According to this pay slip, I was paid my basic pay. I was paid an hourly rate of £19.3 per hour. I have done 139 hours, so I was paid 2,683.80 for that work for that month. And additional roster hours means I have worked 22.81 hours more than the allocated 40 hours for that month, and I was paid the same basic pay rate for that additional hours. Night duty 37%. This means that for any number of antisocial hours, you will get 37% extra amount than your hourly basic pay rate. Weekend allowance is the amount you get according to the number of weekends you have done for that month. Payee mean basically my income tax, and NIA means the national insurance allocation, and then the NHS pension contribution. So these are the deductions from my salary every month. In the bottom here shown the total numbers for the tax year. Finally, the net pay is your take home pay.
Okay, first let me show you my payslip when I was working in the emergency department as a GP ST1. As you can see in this payslip, my basic salary was 38,693, but the basic salary has increased now for GP trainees. My take home salary after income tax, national insurance and pension deduction is £3,093.55. So when you're working in the emergency department, for example, you'll be doing more night shifts and you'll be doing more weekends compared to a rotation where you have less night shifts and less on call. If you wish, you can actually opt out from NHS pension scheme. I have actually opted out from the pension scheme for the very first couple of months I started working in the NHS, because I really wanted to save that few hundreds of pounds, because the initial expenses are higher when you relocate to the UK. But later I got opted in because I wanted to have a decent pension when I retire. National insurance is a mandatory tax everyone have to pay towards a certain benefit schemes. I honestly do not understand why I have to pay national insurance, because unless I have British citizenship or ILR, I am not eligible to most of these benefits. However, I assume that things like maternity pay, free NHS health are also the benefit that's covered from this national insurance. I certainly have benefited from NHS free healthcare and also maternity leave and maternity allowances. As you can see in here, if you are earning more than £12,500 a year, you have to pay income tax. So we doctors obviously have to pay income tax. This chart here shows how much you pay as you earn. Most junior doctors, including myself, are in 20% tax range. Now let me show you my pay slip when I was working in the gynecology and obstetric department in the ST2. As you can see, even if I am 1 year senior, my take home pay is £2,739.99, which is less than the salary I earned my ST1 in emergency department. As you can see here, my additional roster hours are less. My night duty allowance is little bit less than the one in the emergency department, and also my weekend allowance is significantly lower. I was doing 1 in 4 to 1 in 5 weekends, which is like 1 weekend a month, which is not a lot. And in the emergency department, I was doing 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 weekends. That's like almost every other weekend I was on call. So I was obviously paid more for that on call weekend. Okay, now I will show you when I am working 80% less than full time, how much I am earning. So before that, working 80% less than full time means as I told before, I am working 32 hours a week. So my roster was like I work Monday to Thursday and I am off almost every Friday unless I am on call. And I was doing slightly less amount of on call and slightly less amount of weekends compared to a full-time training. So as you can see here, my take-home salary was £2,842, which is about £250 less than a full-time trainee. Honestly, I had an amazing work-life balance and a lot of time to spend for myself and for my family. So I honestly think that deduction in £250 is not as valuable as the time I had for myself by working less than full-time. And the best part is when I am starting my GP rotation next month, I'll be working only 3 days a week, because the GP roster is usually a 10-hour a day roster. So working 32 hours a week means you will be working 3 full days a week, whereas a full-time trainee who is working 40 hours a week will be working 4 full days a week. I think that's amazing to work 3 days a week. Okay, now I know you are very eager to know how can we double or triple our salary as an NHS doctor. Yes, it's totally possible. If you work as a bank SHO for your hospital bank, you can earn a lot of money compared to your basic salary. First of all, if you are not familiar with the term locum, it basically means that in the NHS there is usually there is a pool of doctors who work part-time on hourly basis to cover gaps in the roster. I mean, in certain Asian countries, if a doctor falls ill, go on sick leave, or if your department is understaffed, The remaining doctors have to work extra to cover for that gap, and they don't even get paid more. But in the UK, it's a really good thing. I noticed that there is this pool of doctors who are ready to come and work as locum doctors and fill in the gaps in the roster, so that the other junior doctors don't have to work extra hours just because a doctor falls ill or there is a shortage of doctors in the unit. So if you want to earn more, you can simply sign up with your hospital as a hospital bank post. And in my hospital, for example, I can easily find a bank shift if I want to do. Because honestly speaking, there are a lot of roster gaps needs to be filled. So it's not a very difficult thing to find a locum shift in my hospital, and I assume it will be the case in every other hospital in the NHS as well. And the pay rate for locum doctors is really good as well. For example, in my hospital, they pay, if you're a foundation year 1 doctor, you will be paid £35 an hour if it is a normal working hour, and you will be paid £45 an hour if you are working anti-social hours. This is essentially from 5 p.m. until 7 a.m. and weekends and public holidays. So if you are foundation year 2 doctor or ST1 or 2 doctor or CT1 or 2 doctor, you will be paid £50 per hour if you are working in the bank shift or locum shift in a normal working hour, and you will be paid £60 an hour in antisocial hour. I mean, this rate is a really good rate. Just imagine if you sign up for one night shift as a bank doctor, you will be paid £720 per night shift. If you just do 4 night shifts additional to your normal working roster per month, you can easily double your salary. I mean, according to my roster, I can easily fit in a couple of shifts every week. And also you can work as a locum doctor if you are on annual leave, for example, or if you are having some off days in your roster, you can sign up for bank shifts if that is something you would like to do. However, when you do locum shifts to earn extra money, there are certain things you need to be mindful about. First is, if you are a trainee, you must show all your extra hours of work during your annual review of competency progression or your ARCP. You must pass your exams, and you must show that you are up to date with your clinical knowledge and you are up to date with your portfolio work. And simply speaking, your working extra to earn extra money should not come along the way of your training. If it does, it will be very obvious during your ARCP. Certain trusts have certain restrictions if you are working less than full time for the number of hours you are allowed to do as locum SHO. But my trust do not have major restrictions towards this. And number 2, I think it's very important to maintain a good work-life balance, and money is not everything. So if you're maintaining a good work-life balance, that will be beneficial in long term. Because for me, most of the time, money cannot bring me that mental and physical well-being, and it cannot buy me time towards my future, and it do not improve my relationship with my husband, my kids. So I am very careful when I choose my extra shifts, if I have to do extra shifts. In the UK, you have to pay more tax if you are earning more. So for example, now usually I have to pay 20% income tax. Say I do only 2 additional bank shifts every month, I will be earning extra £1,440 every month. And this becomes £17,280 a year. Because my basic pay is £40,257, this will add up to my basic salary in the end of the tax year. So my total income will be £57,537. What does this mean? This means that at the end of the tax year, I have exceeded the basic rate. So now I will be paying 40% income tax for those additional earnings I get more than 50,000. And I honestly do not think this does a major difference, because still you will be getting some extra money even if it is taxed more. But this is certainly something you need to keep in your mind. And next very important thing is that if you are on a work visa, there are certain restrictions with regards to how much you can earn extra. Generally, you cannot work for another trust while you are on a visa, because you have got the sponsorship from your own trust only. And also you cannot work more than 20 hours a week if you are getting paid for that work. But if you are on a visa and you still think that you can work more than 20 hours a week as a bank doctor, what you need to do is you need to notify this to your trust or your employer, and you need to get your sponsorship updated accordingly. I guess this is not a very difficult thing to do. So if you are someone who need to work more than 20 hours a week As a bank SHO, I think this is the correct way to go. That is almost everything I have to talk about the earning of an NHS doctor, and I hope you have got some very important information here. And certainly if you are someone who has started your NHS job as a doctor recently, or if you are planning to start your work as an NHS doctor in the near future, there are very important factors I have talked in this video. And if you think that was helpful for you, please leave a comment below and hit that like button. It will certainly encourage me to do more videos like this. If you know someone who will be benefited from this video, please share this video with them as well. And I'll see you soon with another video. Thank you very much.